Hello everyone and welcome back. Hope you're having a great day and we're all doing well. In this video, I will be telling you 5 attacking operators for brand new players of Rainbow Six Siege to use. So if you are watching this video, I am going to assume that you're new to the game. And I just want to say, make sure you hit that sub button because I post multiple tutorial videos every week, as well as other Rainbow Six Siege content, which I guarantee will make you better at the game. And without further ado, let's get into this top 5 list. So at the number 5 spot, I have placed Finka. Now what makes Finka special is that she is the only attacking operator, as of the current time of upload, who has the ability to heal her team. And as well as this, her ability to heal is very easy. Basically, the whole premise is every operator on your team have been injected with small adrenaline microbots. And this allows Finka, when she uses her ability, which is a simple button on her glove, and heal every single one of her teammates at the same time, including herself. That means if one of your teammates are injured, you can revive them just by pressing one button, or if 4 of your teammates are injured, you can revive all of them at once with the same way. If you yourself are injured, you can revive yourself by adrenaline boosting. So not only is Finka a great operator for every player in every rank, for a newcomer, she has a very easy to understand and approachable gadget, but as well as this, you're going to be helping your team even if you aren't doing them at the best times. Because yes, there is still room for error with Finka. You may waste all your surges too early, or just not using them at the right time to properly benefit your team. But compared to other operators, that room for failure isn't too insane, and even if you aren't doing it in a coordinated way, there's always a high chance that you're at least going to be assisting one of your teammates, even if they didn't ask for it. Now there is a few things to keep in mind. To begin with, if Finka herself is in the radius of Mute's jammer or frozen by one of Tuberow's Zoto canisters, the activation switch on her gloves cannot connect to your teammates' nanobots, and she won't be able to heal them whilst those effects are active on her. In the same vein as that, if one of your teammates are in the radius of a Mute jammer or being frozen by Tuberow, they will not be able to be healed because their nanobot cannot reach Finka's switch. So if there's 5 people alive on the team, one of them is Finka, and one of your teammates are in a Mute jammer, if Finka heals, she'll heal herself, the 3 other teammates, but not the one who is currently being jammed. And you also cannot revive anyone who is in a frost mat, including yourself. You're going to have to pull yourself out or help them out of it. This is a really simple gadget to understand, and as well as this, she has a pretty great loadout. The Spear Assault Rifle is a favored option for a lot of people. It's a pretty good assault rifle, not my favorite, but it's very usable. My personal go-to is her LMG, the 6P41. I just really love using it, and being able to be this heavy gunner alongside having a healing ability is just a really enjoyable playstyle for me. And her third and final primary is the SASG shotgun. This is everyone's least preferred option. It's definitely not the worst, but when it comes to shotguns, it's also not that favored. And considering how better her other primaries are, there isn't really going to be many situations you're going to want to use it. When it comes to her secondaries, they're both alright. Many people just prefer the PMM, but the GSH is also a good gun. Comes down to personal preference, but you'll probably prefer the PMM. And her secondary gadgets are stun grenades, smoke grenades, and frag grenades. Stuns are if you want to play a more aggressive role to flash out the enemies and use that to you and your teammates' advantage to then swing them. Smoke grenades can be used to apply cover, whether you're going for a plant or you want to block off a line of sight. And frag grenades are used for area denial, so people can be pushed away out of a position, as well as utility destruction. Now the fun thing about Siege is that these are all viable, and it purely depends on the current situation and push you are doing. So I'm not going to give you a specific recommendation, because that purely comes down to the match you're playing at that time. But yes, for all she brings to the team with relative ease, I recommend you give Finka a try. The next operator I have on the list is Gridlock. Now Gridlock's main role is flank watch. She throws down a gadget known as a track stinger. This begins to deploy in a circle radius and leaves these spikes on the floor which will damage any defender who tries to walk in it. And again, this can be done with relative ease. All you have to do is throw them on the ground and they'll start deploying. Keep in mind, these will be destroyed when they're shot with a single bullet. However, if an enemy is flanking you and they are shooting these to not walk in them, they are then giving away their position with gunshots. So Gridlock is great at holding down areas, with relative ease. Her primary weapons are very strong. The F90 assault rifle is a really great weapon, and a lot of people are wanting Ubisoft to add it to a brand new operator because it's just that good of a weapon and we want to see it again. Her other primary is the M249 SAW LMG. Another great weapon, it reloads very fast for an LMG. This is another case of preference, however many people will prefer the F90 assault rifle. Her secondary weapons are really fun because yes, she does have a handgun and it's a good handgun. However, she has the super shorty shotgun. This is a secondary shotgun which can hold 3 shots at a time. Not only can it be used to kill people, I wouldn't bet my money on it just running around with it, but if you're in a gunfight, you get some damage on them and you switch to the super shorty, there's a high chance you're going to then kill them with it. But it's also amazing at map destruction. This allows Gridlock to make her way through walls and help her teammates out, or shoot holes in the floors and throw her gadgets through, or get lines of sight on enemies. It's a very versatile tool to have in your pocket, and because it's that good, over the years it's went from just a standard secondary weapon to kind of being treated like a small secondary gadget on itself. Of course, it is still just a secondary weapon, but Ubisoft have went on to add it to operators such as Legion, and if it's too strong in some cases, remove it from some operators such as Mozzie. Do not sleep on the potential of the super shorty. When it comes to her secondary gadgets, she has the smoke grenades, the frag grenades, which I've both already talked about with Finka, and she also has the impact EMP nades. These can be used to temporarily disable any electronic gadget they're thrown at. If you are aware of the operator Thatcher, they are a smaller, condensed version of his gadget. Again, these can all come down to personal preference and the situation you are currently playing in, so make sure you're droning in the prep phase to know which one you should bring. Next up, we have Lion. He is classed as an intel and map control operator, and he brings along the EE-1D drone. This is a flying drone which hovers above the map. You can actually see this above all the maps when Lion is present, so there's an extra little tip for you. If you're a defender and you look in the sky and see this, that means the attackers have a Lion. And when activated, this drone will scan the entire map, and if any defender is moving, Lion's drone will ping them to everyone on the attacking team. Again, this is something which is very simple to do because it's only a click of the button. However, this is going to be benefiting everyone on your team. Not many people counter this as well. The only operator that can counter Lion's scan is Vigil if he uses his ability. And of course, the only way to not be pinged is to stand still. So using your gadget and forcing the enemies to stand still for a small period of time, you can already imagine how you could use that to your advantage. One thing you do have to keep in mind, if you are in the radius of a mute jammer or frozen by Tubarão, you cannot activate your drone, but once you leave that radius or they're destroyed, you're all good to go. For his loadout, he has the Vector Assault Rifle, the 417 DMR, and the SG CQB shotgun, all of which are great weapons in their respective categories. However, I personally favor the 417 DMR because I just love DMRs in this game, and they are very strong, and the 417 is my favorite one, but they are all great weapons. For his secondary gadgets, he has the LFP revolver and the P9 handgun. Yes, the revolver does more damage, but when it comes to recoil and consistency, I think the P9 is just better personally. But again, personal preference, I've just never liked using revolvers in the 7 years I've been playing this game. For his secondary gadgets, he has the flash grenades and the frag grenades, and another one which I haven't mentioned, which is the claymores, which are a flank watching device which can be placed down outside of doorways, windows, anywhere basically, and if an enemy hits the laser on it, it will explode and kill them. Once again, your choice depends on the current situation. Right, in number 2, I have placed Sledge. You've probably seen him on the cover art for the game. He's pretty much the poster boy of Siege these days. And although he has kind of been pushed out by other people in his role, which can kind of do the job a bit better, when it comes to being a beginner operator, he is definitely easiest to use and is still a great operator. He isn't bad at any stretch of the imagination. But what I love about Sledge as a beginning operator is that his guns are very easy to use. They're low recoil. We'll get into that in a minute. And his gadget is very basic, but it's very useful. And it really helps you master one of the core mechanics of Siege, and that is map destruction. Yes, if the name didn't give it away, his unique ability is the tactical breaching hammer, or the sledgehammer. It can very simply be used to open up holes in soft walls, soft floors, destroy stuff such as castles' barricades. It can destroy standard barricades. It can be used to destroy bulletproof gadgets such as Maestro's evil eyes or deployable shields. It can pretty much destroy everything in the game, which is destructible. But of course, the balancing side of that is that it's attached to Sledge. He has to physically go up to something to destroy it. And it isn't an unlimited use, but it has that much of an HP that you're not going to go through it realistically in a normal match, unless you're opening the entirety of every floor. But yes, Sledge is map destruction at its core. He's understandable to use. Just by watching gameplay of him for 5 seconds, you can pretty much grasp what you're meant to do with him. And like I was saying, his loadout is great too. The L85A2 assault rifle basically has no recoil. This thing is just great at learning gunplay in Siege because it doesn't have a massive barrier. It's easy to use, it's strong. Not only is Sledge going to help you learn map destruction with his gadget, he's also going to help you learn gunplay, which is another major aspect of Siege, with his gun. He also does have a primary shotgun, which is a great shotgun, but I just recommend using the L85A2. When it comes to his secondary weapons, he only has one option, so you can't make a choice there, but it's a fine pistol. And when it comes to his secondary gadgets, he has the frag grenades, stun grenades, and impact EMP nades. So yeah, I was honestly struggling to put Sledge in 2 and not first, but I feel like for number 1 spot, I did have to give the cake to Thermite. Think about how Sledge is with soft destruction. Thermite is the same, but for hard destruction, and that is opening reinforced walls. A very basic gameplay mechanic which is required every single round of the game. Just like Sledge, he was another operator who was in the game at launch, and that is because he is another pillar operator of Siege. He was the first operator who could open reinforced walls. And bringing him along is going to assist your team since you are going to be opening the walls for them. And it's going to help you understand where a lot of these default locations people are going to reinforce. It's going to teach you how important opening breaches are, how important utility is. Thermite is basically Rainbow Six Siege at its core. He has statistically as well remained the most balanced operator ever since his launch. He's never been problematic, he's never been overpowered. He does his job and he does it well. And even now, 9 years in, where we have alternative operators who can also open up walls, and even secondary gadgets that can do it, Thermite is still a highly valuable operator, and you'll see him get played constantly. You just gotta worry for Kaze and Bandit's gadgets on walls, as well as mute jammers. However, if you want to learn how to bypass mute jammers with Thermite, check out this video on screen right now, where I give 10 tips and tricks in Siege, and one of them is going to be very useful for Thermite. But yes, he brings the 5.56 assault rifle, which is just another great weapon. It's easy to control and you're going to take out your enemies fine with it. He also has a primary shotgun, which is alright. I would not recommend bringing that though. It just doesn't fit the playstyle of Thermite. He has 2 secondary pistols, the 5.7 USG and the M45 Musoc. I personally prefer the 5.7 USG. A lot of people would probably agree with my stance on that, but again, it is preference. And for his secondary gadgets, he has the smoke grenades and the stun grenades. And so everyone, those are my top 5 beginner operators for Rainbow Six Siege as of Year 9 Season 2 in 2024. If you are a beginner and you have watched this far in the video, drop a comment letting me know, and also say if you're going to pick up and play any of these operators. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you're new. I shall catch you all later. I love you all, stay safe, peace.